Mm-hmm.
Who do we have coming up right now, though? For this,
now we have
set number 2.
We have Ascension versus the fire-breathing rubber duckies. Oh boy, this is one that we've been looking at for a while, not because we know what's going to happen, but because we have no idea what's going to happen. And I believe this is where we tag in number 3 here, the man, the myth, the legend, the Walkman, Splash and Crash, Walkman. Are you ready, my friend?
Of course they're not, but I'm a little offended. You called me number 3. Everyone knows I'm number 1. I don't know about that.
It's just number 1, 2, 3. You know I love you. I'm a big fan. I'm a big Walkman fan. Let it be said. Let it be said once again. Are you going to G5? I forget.
No. I'm going to G5, but for sure I'm going to be on, Beacon and all that. And probably whatever summer one is, I think Splash and Splash.
Yeah, Smash and Splash 4 just got announced. Well, then we will be crossing paths at least once, but do you have any notes on Ascension versus fire-breathing rubber duckies? Because for the life of me, I do not.
I don't know about these rubber duckies. Ascension, I think they've been around for a while, like at least in Splatoon 2. I've definitely heard their name before. If they're the team I'm thinking of, they're actually pretty good and probably a little underrated. I think they're probably about like a B division-ish team Ludi, but maybe they play better than that. So I'm excited to see what they can do in this tournament.
We'll be interested to see what they can do. I'm trying to look at their roster right now. I'm scrolling down through to the notes here. Ascension, because now that B division, are they in Ludi?
Probably. I've definitely heard the name before, and like in those weeklies, and they've done.
Let me see here.
You know what group we're looking at?
Mm-hmm. It's hard to talk. So, give us your take on that last set with Ascension not Ascension, with Ethereal. They, if I heard chat correctly, they actually beat Team Olive earlier in that Ludi match that they were playing. They have really been a team that has been dominating recently, especially. I remember for a while they were a team that was beating the top teams, and we were surprised. But now I think they're in that conversation for one of the top teams in Splatoon 2.
Yeah, for sure. Ethereal, I think none of the members really stream or anything like that. They're very underrated, like in the community. So, like, I know, like for instance, I've known Gray since back into Splatoon 1 when he was on cooldown. He's always been an amazing player. Like, honestly, he is probably the most underrated player in Splatoon 2. Like, they came out with that community list. I don't know if you saw that for like top 5 like each weapon category, and Gray was not mentioned once, and that hurt me because I think he's one of the best players regardless of weapon. And it just shows when Ethereal goes out and they beat all these teams.
Yeah, they've gone out and they've been on a tear recently. This new Ink Armor meta showing them a lot of love. Double end zap and then the Tri-Slosher. The sloshing machine is what rotated out. I never thought we'd see the day again when the sloshing machine is what got traded out, and the Tri-Slosher was the thing that was back in. But hey, wonderful times.
Yeah, I think that's at least both of them are usable. The more usable weapons, the better. Like, and you were talking about before with the blaster now is usable again. They have. I just love the blaster class in general because you can use about maybe 4 blasters and not be considered throwing the game. You can use the regular blaster. You could use even the custom blaster on some maps people like. Like, I know Ben uses that on some maps like Kelp Dome. He likes the Inkjet. And then, of course, is always viable. And then even the Rapid and the Rapid Pro are seeing more use. So that's 5 blasters right there that you can actually use in the game. And then you look at some other weapons like the Brella, and you can only use the Splat Brella pretty much.
Yeah.
That's what other classes should be modeled around. Because they're so good.
Yeah. And yeah, the cycles of the meta, I don't know. What do you think of the way that the game has been balanced so far? Like, leaving out Stingray, because we both have our opinions on Stingray. I really enjoy the way that the different balance patches have gone. I feel like every meta, there's a few things that stay the same, but I feel like every meta has had a pretty distinct flavor. I mean, now we're going back to Ink Armors, but it's been fun seeing how the game has changed so much from patch to patch.
Yeah, and at least we're going back to like ink armor, but these other specials are still usable. Like ink storm is still always going to be good, and stingray is still tower control, and rainmaker you at least want one on your team. So I think we're in a good spot right now. Like every patch has gotten consistently better and allowed more weapons to be used. So hopefully this keeps going on from there.
Mm-hmm. And right now, still waiting here on our heroes, the fire-breathing rubber duckies here. See if I can find out what's going on. If I can find... I would love to at least identify some of the players on fire-breathing rubber duckies. I'm trying to look through this team list here and see if I can find our heroes from the fire-breathing rubber duckies. Oh, man. Splatoon, I can't decide if Splatoon teams have the best names or the worst names. Like, it's somewhere in the middle in a happy medium, and I can't decide which it is. All right. Thank you, Black, the man behind the mirror here. Kennard, Froki, Hiaden, Itik. Wow, this is this
I've
just
never heard of either of the teams either. But I mean, either of these players on Duckies, but hopefully something. Pokemon,
hopefully something. I know that
everyone knows Pokemon names.
Yes, everyone knows those names. One thing that I know Failboat and I were talking about a little bit and Black was too in the pregame is a lot of Splatoon 1 veterans are finally getting switches because of the Christmas rush. We're seeing some names that we hadn't seen in a while. I know Soldier, the name Soldier is listed down. That was a big player back in Splatoon 1. I know Manabe, Juice, Rocket, Tic Tac has come back recently. Mm-hmm. So a lot of these names that I haven't heard before, I'm hoping that at least one of them is a hidden boss from Splatoon 1 that we just didn't know about that finally have this game now. I know there is a bit of an adjustment period, but I don't know. It'd be fun to see, and it's good to see the vets coming back.
Yeah. At least some version of, like, if you remember Black Paper from Splatoon 1 is playing. I don't know what their name is today, but is in this tournament because I know Manabe's playing. Nas is supposed to be playing with him. So that's already, like, I think that's a team that could definitely make the bracket. And that's just from Splatoon 1 veterans. So we'll see, what they can do here today, just because they've now recently got the switch the others have, but been bouncing around team to team, not really playing as much. So let's see what they can do today.
Yeah. I know as soon as I saw Manabe coming back and playing more, I kind of fanboyed a little bit. Manabe was definitely my favorite charger back in Splatoon 1, back when, that whole, like you said, Black Paper was more active. So it's good to see these big names coming back. And looks like we're waiting just a little bit longer. Ethereal took care of business so quickly that we're actually waiting on the rest to catch up. Mm-hmm. That happens, I suppose. 2 quick knockouts like that. But give me your opinions on Clam Blitz, or at least give chat, because that's been the big talking point, right? This is one of the first big tournaments that's featuring Clam Blitz here. So what's your take on the mode?
Personally, I really enjoy Clam Blitz. Like, I think everybody, there was like a solo queue, they hate it, but then when you play with the team, it's actually pretty decent. I think it's a great mode, at least for tournament play, because there's a lot of coordination you can do, and I think we've barely scratched the surface with, like, strategies and things like that. Definitely, the more tournaments that we do play Clam Blitz, the more we can find out, and hopefully there's going to be, like, its own meta game, because even the special, like, usage is different in Clam Blitz, so that goes.
Yeah. It's a good takeaway from it, and it gives the ink brush finally a chance. I mean, I know that most teams are
okay. I'll listen to you.
Let's move. Oh man, already. I think that it's fun the way, like, if you're going to use it in any mode, I think Clam Blitz is one of its better modes. Is that fair to say?
That's fair, I guess.
Okay. Well, then we can at least get in on that much. And let's see here. We do have confirmation. This is the largest Western tournament that we've had in Splatoon 2. 106 teams that showed up today. Congratulations to everyone at the Squidboards staff putting all this together. I know we have an entire credit sequence that we're going to roll out so you can see everyone who is involved. But I mean, still 106 teams, triple digits. Like, hey, this is growth, man. This is what we've been looking for.
What I say, like, all right, obviously these 107 teams, aren't like the best teams. A lot of them obviously aren't going to make the top cut, but the more tournaments that they're going to play, the better chance that they'll have in the next one, to make it. So just keep playing these tournaments. You're going to probably lose if you're a newer team, but just keep at it, and it's going to work out eventually.
Going to work out eventually. That grind, that wonderful exposure, loving the journey. See here, looks like trying to find out. I think we're going to go ahead if we have the time. We have some trivia for everyone. Everyone who's turned into an Ink TV cast knows we have trivia here for a lot of you newcomers who haven't seen or haven't experienced or haven't just delved into the lore of Splatoon. We'll see here if we can get it up. Some trivia here. Have you seen the trivia, Walkie? Have you tuned in to see all of it?
Yeah, I've probably seen at least most of them. So we don't remember the answers though. So
what is usually the starting position into joining the Salmonid army? Oh, that's right. A lot of this is related to Clan Blitz. So, or I'm sorry, not Clan Blitz, Salmon Run. Wow, I already forgot about Salmon Run. Gosh.
Mode 1.
Snatchers. I just call them, well, never mind. It's a PG stream. I won't say what I call them. Highly valued by most Salmonid.
The answer to that first one, to Tubby Tapu with the egg grabber guys, that seems pretty accurate to me for the last answer.
The egg grabbers. Scrapper's vehicle is a much desired. I always forget that it's called the Scrapper. We just call it Tank whenever we play. Or Junker or things like that. I forget half these names because we have different callouts for them.
I enjoy calling him Ka-Chow.
Ka-Chow.
Ka-Chow is a very solid one.
I see. Salmon is equal to 100.
I think I sort of like popped back in.
A single griller. Actually, Walkie, you and I, it was you, me, Jext, and Spoon who played that first night, wasn't it?
Day, we just played Clan Blitz. We got like a ridiculous score for first day. I'm sure it's not good anymore. But for first day, everyone was like, "Oh my god, how'd you get that high?" I don't even remember. We had such a high pay rate. It was
we got up
whatever.
Was it you or Jext who got to 400 something on that first day?
I think I had the highest. It was 400 something % pay rate. What the hell are we doing?
That first day, we thought we had it all figured out too, and then now you see people getting well over 100 eggs. People putting up 40 plus, 50 plus eggs in a single round. It's like, man, you don't know those early days. Those early days. The first time we ran into Griller, the first time
I was about to say, the first time it turned night and it went Grillers, you didn't know what the hell to do. That was an experience.
It's like, it killed me. It killed me too. Spoon. Oh, and then we'd all die, and then we'd all yell no, and then we'd just run back in. We'd say we're done, and then it's 4 hours later, and we're still playing that stupid mode. God. Good times. Salmonid has special training rooms in the Salmonid barracks. I actually don't know this one.
That's the big ones. It's the big ones, whatever they're called. Yeah, those dudes.
Oh, that's right, Cohawks. What a name. How do they even are those supposed to be fins that come up there, or is it hair? Do they have hair gel for Salmonids?
That'd be an interesting thing to find out. Maybe it's I don't even want to know that. That's definitely not water that they're swimming in. So whatever that is, maybe that goes in their hair.
Well, let it be known, everybody, if you swim in toxic waste, you too can have a mohawk that never goes away. Never. No matter how badly you want it to go away, it'll never go away.
Hello, may I hop into banter for a little bit with all you guys here?
Go for it.
As Ethereal wipes the floor so hard that we're forced into trivia for about 20 minutes. My goodness. How's it going in chat? I see all you people going by. We actually have retained a lot of our viewers. Thank you for sticking around. We'll be having some games coming up soon. Shouts to Black. That's great. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's quarantined. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
So let's look a little bit further ahead here. I know we've already seen Ethereal, but I want to. There are two teams that I want to talk about in particular, and I'm really curious how far they'll go today. The first one is In Control Sorrow. We talked a little bit about them in the pregame being mostly comprised of the parts of Extermination, which we all know was a perennial top 3 team in the Western scene. So that's one team that I want to look at and want to talk a little bit about if we don't get to see them here earlier. And the other one is actually Komodo, because we saw what they could do. And I know at that LAN, I know a lot of people said that that was them vastly overperforming, that they couldn't finish top 8 in a big tournament. But I'm curious as to your thoughts, especially Walkie, on what they can do. Either one of those two teams, your thoughts on them.
Ink Sorrow, first of all, since that was whatever you said first. I think they have a good chance at placing top 8, top 4. I believe the first tournament they won was whatever SCL, and SCL is a pretty decently sized tournament every time. So, and they completely won that on their first go. I think that Ink Sorrow is definitely one of the teams to look out for. They've got definitely some experienced players in Kirito, Banana, who I think is one of the best players in the Western scene. They've got and Echo. So overall, I think it's a great team. Success with Extermination, they're going to bring it back again with Ink Sorrow. So they're definitely a top 8 at least to me. If they get any lower than that, I'd be surprised. It comes out to one of those things like, oh, maybe they have to play, like Team Olive or Ethereal, second round of bracket, something like that. All right, that's reasonable if they do wipe out there, but overall they should get a high placement. And then next up for Komodo.
I actually have an update on Komodo.
Okay.
I actually do have one. Looking down here in Group P, they actually lost to Onsite Gaming. So that's SKR, for those of you who are familiar with SKR and the SK Army. Same team, just rebranded Onsite Gaming. They beat Komodo 2-1. So I guess there's your answer right there.
Yeah. I don't know about their group, but I think they can make the bracket. I don't know with them. Do you know?
They should be able to make it out. I took some notes down. They are in one of the smaller groups, and I would be very surprised if they didn't make it out of bracket at least. But it looks like they'll have to do that with the number 2 seed in their bracket right now, because
not too surprised about Spicy Crack and Rolls / Onset Gaming, beating them, because SKR, they've done some crazy things time and time again. So that, but definitely a bracket team. I don't know how far they'll go in the bracket, but I think they can make it.
Yeah, I'll be interested in seeing what SKR / Onsite Gaming has done, because they made some big waves at that last LAN, and they're one of those teams that are inconsistent. You'll see them get 5th place at a big tournament, and then you'll see them not make bracket in another decently sized tournament. So really seeing if they can stabilize their play. They've got the talent. They've got some great players. It's just a matter of putting it all together. This would be a huge statement, especially making it out first seed. If they're able to make top 8 at a tournament of this size, that would be their biggest finish for sure. And let's see.
Everyone, just update everyone. The Last Laugh has lost their first game. My boys are going strong right from the get-go.
Carrying on that legacy. Love
Exactly, man. I hope they weren't even memeing first game. Look, it's a team about memes, but I believe in them to show up a little bit.
Another team to keep an eye out for, Dachi, a team that a lot of people aren't familiar with or probably weren't familiar with until recently. They actually just beat Saikai. Not this tournament, but they have a win over Saikai in a recent tournament. And that's about as good a win as you can get. They are the top seed down in Group N. The other top team looks to be what's left of Extermination. They are listed as the 2 seed, and they still got a few players. Savage, I know, is one that a lot of people are familiar with from Extermination. It's still the same Savage, not the Savage that a lot of you saw on Hanron and the Western Smash and Splash 3, but still another Savage. So that'll be an interesting match between those two. Be interesting to see how far Dachi can go here. And that is, once again, Group N. Did I say that right? Yes, that is Group N, if any of you want to follow along with them.
Oh yeah, should we supply them with the bracket link, or is that like a command?
I think that's already there.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, so also just like to, 'cause I see a lot of people in chat asking what we're waiting for and things like that. So Ethereal just won their first game way too quick. Basically, we're waiting on whatever the next team is, and we're trying to get them in the lobby right now as we just added everybody and things like that. So the next match should be up within the next few minutes. So just please stay patient with that. Sorry about Ethereal just being that good and kind of leaving us in this position. So
it does look like Black has confirmed from behind the curtain that they have been added. So you were right. Next couple minutes here, we should be getting into things. We should finally be able to see what the fire-breathing rubber duckies have and see just how good this Ascension team can be. Finally going to get some action for you all. Again, sorry for the wait, but now we'll finally get into it here. See some Splatoon. Let me take a look here, see if I can't identify what maps and modes we're going to be playing before it loads up.